heads up, we are live.
Oh, okay.
So Heather's gonna make sure she just watches her mouth over there.
Hey guys.
If everybody can just turn the mic on quick and just check it.
Testing. Am I good?
Testing. Testing.
Testing.
I get to bang the hammer.
I just wanted to do that.
I did. Call this meeting to order. Time is 6:30. This meeting is a meeting of the Board of Education and Public Conduct the School District's business is not to be considered a public comment meeting. There is a time for public participation during the meeting as indicated in the agenda. Can we please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Can we get a roll call in attendance, please?
Ed Robinson,
Here.
Jennifer Gonzalez,
Here.
Mike Powers,
Here.
Keith Castenson,
Here.
Audrey Kostick.
She's absent excused.
I just want to apologize tonight for people. I do have a cold tonight, so I'm kind of, suffering through that. And when I put my sunglasses on tonight, my prescription didn't come in, so that's why I'm doing it. I'm not just trying to act like Mr. Cool out here, just so I can read things. Can I get a verification of public notice, please?
Absolutely. The meeting was posted in all the usual places, schoolhouse doors, eVergent, Village Hall, online, and media were notified and are present.
Thank you. Can I get approval of the agenda for the meeting, please?
Motion to approve.
I second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? No. All right. Motion approved. Is there any way we can batch these, or are we doing these all separate? Or the consent agenda? Okay. Can we get a motion to approve the consent agenda, which would include the approval of regular meeting minutes from 5/12/25, the special meeting minutes of 5/12/25, approval of board workshop meeting minutes of 6/2/25, approval of special meeting minutes from 6/2/25, approval of facilities committee meeting minutes of 5/30/25, and an approval for the policy committee meeting minutes of 5/30/25.
I motion to approve the aforesaid agendas.
Second.
We have a first and a second. Is there any discussion? All right, seeing none, motion moves. Approved. Move on to the business and finance. Financial report, Pete will walk us through the high-end level info, and then Ed will read the totals for us.
All right,
I
thank
just
you.
want, before Pete goes, I just want to say this is Pete's last event with us, and he's been wonderful serving in a lot of roles. Pete came last year as interim principal, came and probably this time last year was thinking, oh, I'm done with Raymond, I can go on to my retirement, and then here we go. So this year was set to do some evaluation work and then did a right turn there around December-ish, and became our business manager interim. So just appreciate the work you've put in, Pete, and the commitment to things. It's been great to see he and Jeff Genovese transitioning into the role. So thanks for your service to Raymond, and who knows, I mean, we do see you driving the bus from time to time, so you're welcome to come by anytime.
Never say never. All right, so thanks, Mike, I appreciate that. In May, our overall expenditures outpaced revenue as expected. Some of our larger expenditures included transportation, as we had numerous sporting events and field trips in the month of May. Close-Up DC occurred in May, which allowed us to finalize the accounts for that, as well as Camp Mason Whitcomb fundraisers from last year and this year coming up. Thanks again to the PTO for their generous donations to our students for field trips and camp. So for Fund 10, we are currently running at about 64% of budget compared to last year's 80%, so that will allow us to do some minor repairs prior to the end of the fiscal year, which is the end of this month, and also allow some money to go into fund balance. Thank you to all the staff who did without much of this year as much as possible in order to save and help our overall budget. The staff do so much with our kids with little extras. Fund 27 is running nearly even with last year at about 83%. Fund 38 is also nearly even as the final loan payment on the Wisconsin Retirement System loan was made and posted on May 1st. That payment was $54,743.88 in principal and interest. The energy efficiency loan that I talked about last month actually runs another 10 years to 2035. For revenue, the personal property exemption from the state came in May, adding $38,584.77. We also received a couple of donations for air conditioners, which will be a welcome addition to classrooms. We also received notice on our high-cost special ed claim that we did for the first time in many years this year. It's for last year's costs. Typically, these are reimbursed up to 90%, but the amount approved by the legislature is some certain, so they give a designated amount, and then it's divided up by the number of claims. That being the case, schools received just under 20% of that amount, not 90 as anticipated. So for us, that's $27,906 and not the $100,000 that we applied for. The budget discussions going on for the next fiscal budget are including this in their budgets. The talk out of joint finance is to make it 50% sum certain. In other words, it would be funded at 50% no matter what the cost is, and then 90% in 2027. That'll help in that area, but not much else is coming out of joint finance, so that's about the help that we would get. So it's one area of good news, and again, that's my opinion. Jeff Genovese, as Mike mentioned, we are transitioning. He's been working hard. He's learning our numbers and our system, working with the staff, getting acclimated already. The district will be in great hands with him. He is one of the best I have worked with, have been very impressed with his abilities, and the district's going to be in really good shape, and I'm happy for that. And finally, as Mike mentioned, this is my last meeting as interim business manager, so I'd like to say a few things. One, I am grateful to the board for again, placing their trust in me and to help out here at Raymond. I have worked with 10 different board members in the cause of my 2 years, but no matter who they are, every single one had the students and staff in their best interests. And we may disagree on what that means, but there was never a question that they were doing it for the staff and for the students of this district. It's not an easy job, and I commend each one of you for doing it. To the administrative team that I've been able to work with, Rebecca, Donna, Dana, Debbie, even Erica, they've been tremendous. They are true professionals. It has been my pleasure to work with such great people. It's incredible that this team exists in this small of a district, because I truly believe that we are in very good, capable hands. Mike Leach, you don't get enough credit for the job you're doing. The culture here the past year was incredibly positive, and the results show that. At the end of your gathering this year, staff applauded Mike for his leadership and positive can-do attitude. Budget cuts are never easy, yet the morale of the staff stayed strong. That is leadership. To the teachers, your love for our students show every single day. This truly is a special place. And if you have never been somewhere else, you may think it's the same everywhere. It is not. This place is truly special. And for everyone else here that doesn't see it on a daily basis, realize that due to our budget situation, we have staff that make tremendous sacrifices just to stay at Raymond, and had staff that have done that this year so that they can come back next year. That tells you how special a place it is. So thank you very much again. I really do appreciate it. It was a wonderful way to end my career, and I couldn't be more proud to be a part of the Raymond Panthers. Thank you.
Thank you, Pete.
Okay, I'll give out the treasurer's report. Our beginning balance was $1,300,788.10. Our accounts payable was $208,233.67. Our receipts, $119,388.20. Payroll disbursements, $201,088.54. Our total transactions ended up at $289,934.01. Our ending balance is $1,010,854.09. For all the payroll checks and EFTs, please see the agenda. Thank you.
Thank you, Ed. We'll need a motion for the approval of the treasurer's report.
I'll make a motion to approve treasurer's report.
I will second the motion.
Any discussion? Seeing none, motion approved. We'll move on to the school showcase, close-up DC presentations by Ms. Goodrich and Ms. Fueling.
I want to just welcome our presentation. Ms. Fueling, Ms. Goodrich, thank you for coming here on this after-school summertime evening, and especially to our two students who have recently promoted to high school. Notice I didn't say graduated, boys, because this is just the start of that journey. But they couldn't help but come back, so thank you to them as well. I'll let you go through your introductions and all that as you see fit. So looking forward to hearing about Close Up DC. This is something unique that not every school does, although quite a few students, my own kids went to DC for their 8th grade experience in our district, and sometimes use different companies. Close Up DC is the company we use, and they do an excellent job. And the teachers, it simply wouldn't happen without their interest in traveling with other people's kids for about a week. So thank you for wanting to do that with 13 and 14, or 12, 13, 14, 15, somewhere in that range of age, depending on the kids. So thank you for all you do with that.
So as you heard Mr. Leach say, we use a company called Close Up Washington, D.C. This is a biannual trip, so every other year we take our 7th and 8th graders. This was started years ago by Mrs. Debbie Shore and Ms. Jill Peterson, and then when COVID happened, it kind of stopped, so we decided it was time to bring it back to Raymond School. This first picture here is a picture of all of the participants. We had participants from, of course, Wisconsin, Alaska, Arizona, California, Florida, and Florida. Forgot the fifth one. So with that being said, I'm going to let the kids come on up and take it away.
I'll start the next one.
There we go.
So the parents entrusted us with their children in the early morning on April 27th. We put them all in red shirts so we would not lose them, and we got ready to head on out. Had a great trip, interesting landing, but it was great to see that some of the kids had never even flown before, but they were there next to their peers, so they had the comfort in that.
Introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Zach Helvig. I am one of the kids who went on this trip. It's a great trip, great opportunities that we were given. And these pictures up here is the first day we landed, took the metro down to Ford's Theater, and we got to see where Abraham Lincoln was assassinated up in the bottom right corner. His seat is still there. And then up on the top right, we got to see the actual theater. And one of the park rangers, I think, had a little speech for us, and he was explaining what was going on during the time and stuff like that. And our eating, what we ate was all the pictures around the top one. They were all taken at the morning of first or second day. They were giving us food. We had like a little buffet area. They had pancakes and all that type of stuff. It wasn't the best food, but it was edible. And then that top photo in the middle is right next to our hotel. They had a 2-story McDonald's. So the first day in the afternoon when we landed, we got to eat food and had fun there.
The monuments and memorials. They were really cool because we read about them in books, and then we got to see them in real life, and they're really cool to see in person. This is the World War II memorial. They had one each pillar for a different state. It was really cool to see, especially at night. And then there's the FDR Memorial and the Iwo Jima Memorial. They're really cool to see. I'm Jordy, and I just graduated here.
One of our students who did attend was not able to be here this evening, but she did send a statement that she wanted to share. She said, over the trip, I gained a deeper level of respect for all the people who fought in the war. Seeing the walls of names made me realize how many people literally died for us. In school, they mentioned the number of people who have died in war, but to see all the names right in front of me, I was stunned.
The photo on the far left is when we were at Lincoln Memorial. We had we were put into little groups, and one of the guy in the middle who was speaking with the red lanyards, they were in charge of us. They were our group leaders, as they call us, and they would take us around. They'd show us some things, and then we were given 10, 15 minutes to explore, and then we went back into our groups and talked about what we learned. And then the photos on the right are Lincoln Memorial, different pictures of it. Of course, the girls in the middle doing what girls are doing. And then the middle photo is the front of the memorial.
These were photos of some of the students that went on the trip in front of the George Washington Memorial. These are the monuments and memorials at night. They're really cool to see at night because they were all lit up and they're about the only thing you could see. This is pictures of the Capitol and the White House. The photo on the top right corner is of one of the outside of the rooms of one of the representatives.
The middle photo, the one with all the seats and the screen and all of that, one of the meeting rooms in one of the, what building was it? In the Capitol building, which my guide took our group in there and he explained what would happen in those different rooms. And they would have there was a bunch of hallways which would have the identical room, and they were each used for a different purpose and a different meeting spot. And then the one on the bottom left is my cousin and one of her friends in front of the White House. There you go, I forgot the name, sorry. And the one in the middle is Anderson posing in front of the Capitol building. The one on the far left is the photo that we all took as in 8th grade and 7th grade. And kids are went down the group. And then a couple more pictures of the Capitol on that right side there.
We did have the teachers send us one picture to prove they were still alive. So throughout the trip, they would send us that's proof right there, still there.
This is Williamsburg. It was all set up like it was hundreds of years ago. It's Virginia's colonial capital. It was really cool to see how life would have been a long time ago.
And then when we went to the memorials, they had buses set up for us, so we had a couple, 50 kids in each bus, and they would drive us around, take us to each spot, and at the end we'd hop back in the bus, and we'd just drive to the next spot. And the plane ride, it was a really cool experience since I haven't been on a plane ride for a long time. And yeah, as Miss Feeling said, I think the landing on the first, going to Washington wasn't the most beautiful landing there was. We got very scared. Yeah.
It's a really windy when you landed.
Yeah, it was very windy, but very fun. At the end of the nights, the teachers would go around. When did you take our phones? About 8:30? 9:30.
No, it was like 10:30.
They would come to all of our rooms at about 10 o'clock, and
Felt like 6 p.m.
Yes.
they'd take all of our phones so we couldn't be on them all night and watching YouTube and stuff like that. And they'd charge them all for us, which was really nice. And
Convenience.
convenience, there you go.
So we're at 7 a.m.
That's really a good idea.
We didn't do that last time, and it was a great opportunity for us to check in too. So we got to go to each of the rooms and check in with the kids and kind of ask them about their day. So that piece of it alone was a great addition.
The photo on the left is everybody waiting to go up the elevators. I think there was only like 2 or 3 working at the time. Yeah, and so it took like 30 minutes for us to wait and then get up, but I mean, we got to talk with our friends, so it was worth it. We didn't mind. This was the Smithsonian Air and Space or the Natural History Museum, whichever one you chose to go to. It was really cool to see. I chose the Natural History Museum. It was cool to see all the animals they had in there. I mean, they weren't living, but it's still cool.
And on the last day, when we went there, we took our class photo, or group photo for the last day in front of the Smithsonian
Museum of Natural History.
wall. In front of the wall, which had the name on it.
Did you have a favorite thing?
Probably the Iwo Jima. I like the big statue and the
Yeah?
representation and all that.
I
which
like
is
the
really cool.
memorials at night. They're really
Yeah.
cool to see. Yeah.
And then these were some fun things we did. We got time shopping and all that in between. Photo on that right side is the only thing I eat. Chicken nuggets on the first day in the McDonald's, which is really fun.
These are some of the breathtaking sights we had. That first photo on the left is of Arlington National Cemetery, and the photo on the right is the George Washington Memorial, all lit up. It was really cool to see.
The one on the top middle is the Iwo Jima Memorial, which is my favorite because they have, it's very big statue that they had there, and a bunch of kids were around it, and they have each war all around the mid part of the base of it, which is really cool. And then the bottom was the Library of Congress, which was really cool. The students, we got to go on the top part and look over it. As the teachers, I've been told, got to go on the bottom part and explore that a little bit,
We got our library cards.
which is really cool. And then that's it.
So, thank you,
Very.
nice job. Appreciate your chicken nuggets, that's good. A couple things to note, this is not a cheap venture, and so there's a huge effort by parents to not only pay for this, and then they spend a year, really, 2 years, really, fundraising and trying to get this paid for. What was the ticket on this, price tag on this?
$1,900.
About $1,900. So parents are on the loop with Close-Up. It's all directly through them, but then we reimburse through a lot of actionable and active fundraising. So donkey basketball, pie sales, Pringles, bake sales, just begging grandparents, lots of things. And many students got a significant portion reduced, and parents then are reimbursed after, which you'll see in our check register tonight, quite a few individual lumps of hundreds going out to families as the reimbursement comes through that way. So again, this is no small effort, so thank you to the parents for fronting. Hopefully your students told you thank you. My daughter totally forgot to tell me thank you, my wife and I, but that's okay. But it's a really great event. It's not for everybody. I mean, sometimes some people choose to go on their own or at some other time, but for those that take up on it, it really is a meaningful event. And again, the teachers, this simply wouldn't happen if you didn't decide to lean into it for 2 whole years. So looking forward to seeing it. Now we got a 2-year break, so we'll see, you know. Right now they just got back, so they're like, yeah, we'll go. It's a lot of fun. But then it gets tiresome, so I just thank them for what they've done. So any questions from the board on behalf of the trip or anything?
Would you do it again? Okay.
And do you plan
That's a
on
good
doing
sign.
it again?
Yeah, I am.
Good. have a question for the boys. What were all the Post-its on the outside of the, what were they?
I don't remember.
I wasn't there.
No, that was his group.
So outside of each one of the, so it was each one of their offices, so they got to decorate the outside of their doors however they chose. So in this particular one, they must have had some type of a message discussion, inviting people to add to their
To their-
conversation.
And who gave the statement? Because that was pretty,
Emily
oh,
Kennedy.
was it Emery? I thought so.
I remember when I was here back in the 90s, we got to go to the state capitol, not to the DC capitol, so that's a really cool experience for you guys to be able to have. I'm glad we have that opportunity for you guys. Ed stole my question about what would be your favorite thing about the trip, but would there be anything you guys would want to see or change about it at all, or?
Not really, no. It was all a great experience, and I think they took us through the right stuff.
That's awesome.
Did you make any lasting connections with kids from other schools?
Not really, no.
I
did.
Sure you did.
Did you? Yeah? I think that's cool that they mingle with other kids. I never realized that. I never got.
Talking to kids from Alaska, that's
Right.
way different from what's going
Right.
on here, you know? so
I think
it's
that's awesome.
Yeah.
I didn't know that existed even.
And we intentionally moved them into groups during the day so they're not with just your regular kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a mad dash from the time they land till the time they leave.
It is.
There is not downtime. They are not ever bored. In fact, if anything, they're exhausted. So glad you guys were able to make
Uh-oh,
it.
what were you whispering?
What they would have us do on the buses is they'd have downtime and uptime. So downtime, you'd be on your phone and take a nap or whatever, and uptime, you had
Put it
no
away.
phones and you
And
had to
looking
pay
up.
attention.
You had to be looking up from your phone. That's it.
Yeah,
And listen and participate.
listen and participate, yeah.
Did you get to go up in the Washington Monument?
My group wasn't taken to the Washington Monument, like personally, but we did get to see it decently close from the World War II memorial.
But you got to go up?
No, I didn't.
Oh, you didn't
No,
go up?
I don't know.
It's a long ways up.
Yeah, I don't think
think
anybody
you
can
get
go
the
up right
first
now.
Oh, really?
Not the close-up DC groups.
Oh,
Yeah, I think
okay.
security-wise, it's limited
know.
who can go.
Okay.
Did you see a lot of security?
In like the government buildings, like the
Yeah.
Capitol building and all that, there was a bunch of security. And when we went to the mall the first couple of days, there was a mall, the government building. There was a food court in the bottom with a bunch of different stores and all of that. There was a bunch of security going in there.
Was there?
Yeah, and walking around and stuff too.
Very cool.
Well, thank you for presentation. Great job. One more round of applause.
Thank you.
And thank you guys, that was a really cool presentation. We'll move on to the public portion of the meeting. Members of the public wishing to address the board on any topic related to the agenda are required to complete a public input form before the beginning of the meeting, as well as announce their name, address, and relationship within the school community.
I didn't get it.
No public comment? Wow. I think that's a first. We'll move on to district business. Got our end of the year school health services report. Erica Nisla, district nurse. I hope I pronounced that right.
Hey, hello, everybody. My name's Erica Nisla. This is my third year as the district nurse, if you don't know me. So I am part-time, and I go to Kansasville, Union Grove, Yorkville, and Raymond throughout the week. My contracted hours are, it's always less than 800, but I average about 20 to 30, depending on the time of the year. Like the beginning of the year is a little more heavy because of immunizations. And then sometimes I'm not here at all because I have to be in a different school of filling in. So I just kind of make a little report through of what goes on in the health room throughout the year. And so my main is to promote school health and wellness with the students. I also provide resources for staff and professional development. I attend a webinar every year in the fall for immunizations, which is like a state requirement, which I'll talk about in just a little bit. I have some extra certifications that don't really apply to school nurse, but I have BLS, ACLS, PALS, TNCC, which is basic life support, advanced life support, pediatric life support, and trauma. I'm a trauma nurse also. I do continuing education for nursing throughout the year. I attend the Wisconsin School Nurse Conference in April. If you sign up early, it's free, so I usually always take advantage of that. I finished my master's in education for nursing, and let's see, just going down. Throughout the year, so I did apply to 2 grants for AED last year. I don't know if you were here. I applied for one grant because one of them is getting kind of old and hard to find replacement parts. So this year I reapplied twice. I have heard nothing back from that, so I'm assuming we didn't get it. But I did apply again, and I will do it again in the fall. Okay, so I'm moving to, yeah, you can stay right there. So when I do immunizations in the fall, the total enrollment in the fall for my number 396, I have to hand in all my immunization requirements at the end of October for the state. And so this year, and if you see that link right there, if you open it, it's 75 pages long, but it tells you all the stuff I input, and so we are 100% compliant. So that's 300, if you stay in that little box, hold on. Okay, 376 complete immunizations. This means that 376 have their up-to-date immunization. In the process, there was 14 who were completing it, so that means they didn't have their immunization by the time I handed in, but then the state goes back to check if they got it. So, and then the waivers are if you decide not to immunize, you just sign the waiver. That makes you compliant if you sign it. So we're 100% compliant. That link, if you ever want to look at it, 75 pages long. At the bottom is the important part that says Raymond is 100% compliant. Okay. I do vision screenings and hearing screenings. This is just an added bonus. It's not required. No referrals this year, so that's good. That's okay. And next year, the high school wants to pair with me. It's the HOSA group it's students who want to get into health. So they want to come and do the eye exams, and they can put that on their resumes too. There's a small test they can take, and it's free. So I'm going to bring them in next year to help me. I also do the human growth and development class for the 5th graders, and then Mr. Leach is the other one for the boys. So we do that. I offer lots of education if you ever need anything. I have lots of resources. This year in the health room, and there's no magic number to this, we saw 1,433 students at a range from Band-Aids, ice packs, scrapes, dizzy, vomiting, the whole range. And so yeah, there's no magic number to meet with that. I just record our yearly number.
That is less than last year though, correct?
Significantly less than last year. Last year we were like in the 2000s.
We worked very hard this year. Our staff were tremendous, and we issued them small fix-it kits, I guess you could say, little first aid kits, and staff were great about not sending for every little sniffle or bump or bruise, trying to toughen these kids up. But they did a really good job because the office staff was different this year. We didn't have a health aide throughout the entire school year. Lindsay switched over to secretary and health aide, so with Ms. Capone switching to that role, we wanted to make sure we were all trying to not, just have everything flow nicely and meet the needs of kids, but also teach them what's a health room visit versus something you can fix in your room versus something you can just wait till you get home on.
Yes.
So the kids did a great job with that.
I skipped over this one, but I also, to add to that, I do staff trainings yearly in the beginning of the year on all the rescue medications. Sorry, I'm kind of skipping around because I missed it. And then throughout the year, if anybody needs a refresher, I do that also. And then part of that training is talking about Band-Aids or plugging the nose for the bloody noses, stuff like that to help the staff. Okay, I'm just scrolling down a little bit on my report. I won't, so we do have a couple daily medications. We don't have any diabetics in the school district, this one. We have some inhalers, some diastats, and some EpiPens. And then,
If you notice though, 65 medications are kept here, which is pretty,
yes,
if you think about at home what we manage, that's quite a bit. And the students do an excellent job, and parents do a great job of following our policies for that, which is not having kids carry things around on them. It's very easy for parents to say, oh, just take a couple Advil, put it in your pocket, and take it when you want it. Nope,
yeah,
can't
we
do
don't,
that. And
yeah,
so
we do not do that at all.
We do not do that. However,
Everybody has to have a form filled out
Right.
over the counter or one prescribed by the doctor. So
Right.
everything is kept in the health room. Unless they are older, some of them have self-carry inhalers. The contacts for Raymond, this is just very general number of like greater than 20. This is me personally, greater than 100 for students and staff, 25. Medical professionals just once this year, which is okay. That's usually just to get our EpiPens. So we have a medical director, us in the high school, and then the district, the 4 schools. And then she provides her DPI number to get the EpiPens, which are free to the school. She just has to sign. And then she makes herself available if we have anything. We'll skip that part. That we won't go into because it's more like a HIPAA thing, and that's just mainly for the board to know what kind of student health concerns we have here at Raymond. So for IEPs, IHPs, 504s, this year was a little light for me, and it all depends when their 504 and when their IEP comes around and if they need medical for it. So not too many IEPs this year for Raymond, just 1, 2 IHPs, no 504s, no communicable diseases. Pretty much it. And then I always list goals for the next year, which is just continue being a resource in health education and promoting wellness with the students and the staff.
certainly appreciate everything you do for us. I did not realize when I first came on board that this was such a part-time position, and so very quickly we realized that you're a busy person, and you've got multiple jobs even, because this isn't a full-time job, although it seems like a full-time job. So thank you for what you do for us with the health room.
Thank you for another good year at your job over there, Erica. Keeping us in line.
Yeah, taking care of my kids. So thank you.
Yeah, I got a little crash test dummy that's starting to come through, so you might see him a little bit. All right, up next we have the Neola policy update, which is our first read tonight. We will not need any action taken, and our second read will be next week, or next month, sorry. So I will list off everything from our policy. This is basically our policy committee meeting report tonight too, because this is basically what we did. All these are pretty much either just word revisions. There are a couple of new ones that are added in. I think there's 2, and then there's a bunch of being rescinded that they're just not needed. Whereas they're just like covered in another one, and it's just kind of redundant, so they're kind of trying to minimize the amount of policies that we have.
If Neola sees that there are 4 sub-policies, they just create 1 policy instead of having 5. So it's not that the policies are going away, we don't have a policy for that anymore. No, it's embedded within a larger policy. So some of them became quite lengthy.
Yeah.
But it was at least nice that they're taking away some others. So the first read is the first of two. Second read would occur between now and the approval date on the 21st of July, and that would be the official reading at that time.
All righty, so we will start with all the policies here. Policy 5411, Act 20, third grade promotion and retention at-risk students. That is a new policy because of the Act 20. Policy 1100, district organization is revised. Policy 1130, ethics and conflict of interest, revised. Policy 3230, ethics and conflict of interest, also revised. And policy 4230, ethics and conflict of interest, revised. Usually when you see those like 1130, 3230, or 4230, one is basically your administration, I believe. Two is for your teachers and staff, and then four would be for your support staff, your paras and stuff like that. So they're basically all the same, so you're not just thinking, well, why do they have three of this one? It's for the different levels of staff. Policy 11240, 1, non-renewal or termination of district administrator's contract. That's been revised. Policy 2210, curriculum development, revised. Policy 2270, religion in the curriculum, revised. Policy 2271.01, Start College Now program is revised. Policy 2416, student privacy and parental access to information, revised. Policy 2441.01, summer or intern school attendance is new. Policy 2464, advanced learning instruction, it's the gifted and talented, that is a replacement. Policy 3214, staff gifts, is replacement. Policy 4214, staff gifts, is replacement. Policy 3281, personal property of staff members, revised. Policy 4124, notice of reasonable assurance of employment, is revised. Policy 5113, open enrollment program, interdistrict, revised. Policy 5330, administration of medication, emergency care, revised. Policy 5341, emergency medical authorization, is rescinded. Policy 5512, use of tobacco and nicotine by students, is revised. Policy 5611, due process rights, rescinded. Policy 5710, student complaints, is rescinded. Policy 6231, budget implementation, is revised. Policy 6235, fund balance, is revised. Policy 6620, petty cash, revised. Policy 7410, maintenance, revised. Policy 7430, safety standards, revised. Policy 7440, facility security, revised. Policy 7440.02, smart sensor and monitoring technology, revised. Policy 7540.03, student technology acceptable use and safety, revised. Policy 7540.04, staff technology acceptable use and safety, revised. Policy 7540.07, district issued student email account, revised. Policy 8120, volunteers, is revised. Policy 8125, consultants, is new. Policy 8305, information security, is revised. Policy 8395, student mental and physical health services, revised. Policy 8531, free and reduced meals or reduced priced meals, revised. And policy 8600, transportation, is revised. The financial note on this is annually, the Neola Policy Service costs the district approximately $4,000. That is something that we pay and is budgeted for every year, just because we have to have all these policies and updates.
Yes, quite a lengthy list. Now, keep in mind, this is the list that's recommended by Neola, so this is batch 34-1. These are brought to us. We always have the ability, if we have an idea or a thought or something we want to articulate in our policy, we can always approach Neola, although these batches are pretty much created by them, so they approach us. And I want to note that when I first came on board, we were 4 or 5 batches behind. We're now just about caught up. We have one more batch before we're caught up at the end of this year with 34-2, which is a lot of work, but I think it's important for us to be compliant on all of our policy work. So I commend the policy committee for that. Our next policy committee meeting will be in July 10th.
We'll move on to the JACE system upgrade. That's the controller for our HVAC system by J.M. Brennan.
We, on the committee, Ed and Mike have gotten us to create a list of really important projects. When money is a struggle, budgets are tight, we have to really revise our list to make sure it's the essentials. The JACE handling system controller is critical. It's running on Windows 98, and it's going to be end of life pretty soon here. And so we want to make sure we're updated with our system. It's not a cheap venture, but we're asking for the board to approve this. This is something that would come out of this year's money savings that we were able to get through the school year. It's not looking to be applied off of next year's budget. It's taken out of this year's current budget, so we'll have a better sense. But Pete and Jeff both have given it the approval of, yes, we have the funds, and yes, it can be considered by the board tonight. So Ed, any comments?
Did you guys get prices from other people or no?
We did not. We went through, because J.M. Brennan has done our work with us, and they work with 2 other vendors as well. So they subcontract, and so it's one company, but really 3 perspectives within the company. So Ed, do you want to comment at all?
Each contractor, or contract system out there, they all handle different brand names.
Oh, I know, I completely get it.
So,
But you do have to also keep people honest too.
Sure.
well, I worked him over. When he was here, I talked to him about certain things, and to be quite honest, I'm familiar with these kinds of systems, and this isn't out of line per se. It's a new controller. All the screens got to be rewritten. Some of the control work has to be rewritten. There is a program that goes along with this that allows us to control each one of the air handling units in each of the rooms. It comes back, and so there's a lot of control work. And those guys, they charge a lot of money for that, writing code and all of that. So anyway, the system is rather dated. I think there will be savings from an energy standpoint. Bob was telling me just the other day, the system went out. The big air conditioning systems came on in the gym, and they ran for almost 24 hours wide open, just because we lost communications. So there's a lot of benefit with this. So it was the right thing to do. And like I said, we talk about the boilers going out, we talk about other things like that. This is kind of part of that system. So it brings us up to current date. So is there any other discussion?
We also, with being on the facility, we had talked and we were worried about the price of a new computer, if we would have to get a new computer and everything with it and stuff. And Mike had told us that we do not need to get a new computer because we do have one here that we'll be able to run it off of. So we were able to save money on that. And it'll make it a lot easier for Bob and whoever else to be able to control this system when it does go out. Because right now, basically, he would have to come in here personally to the school and restart and reset the whole system, and then go through the computer and try to find the right link to be able to try to reset it. And that's why we really need this upgrade, to be able to get it back to where it needs to be, especially before all of a sudden we lose whatever communications, when we lose Windows 95 or whatever it is that it's still running on.
That's correct.
So
I
I'd-
don't disagree that we need it, it's just that,
Make sure we get it.
I mean, when you're spending $19,000, I get it, I totally understand you wanna stay with the same company, but you need to have more than one price when you're spending $20,000.
And I think what we originally thought it was gonna be was about 25,000, so we were down almost 6,000 from that original.
I get it, but I just
Yeah.
don't.
So I'd like to move to approve the purchase of the Jace updated system upgrade as outlined in the estimate that is not to exceed $19,000.
Did somebody approve it?
Second.
I'll second.
We have a first and a second. Do we have any other discussion on this?
Do we, before I approve that, I guess, do we have time to get another bid?
I know we were out looking,
Should?
I know we went out and looked for other suppliers.
Okay,
Well, the original vendor we had with our system is no longer a vendor. So we went to them first, couldn't. We then contacted a couple of the locals around as to who handles their controllers in Yorkville, which is pretty parallel to us in a lot of ways, was the next logical, who's your person, company. And then Jay and Brennan, as I mentioned, they do some subcontract with a variety of vendors. So we're pretty confident this is a reasonable price. However, I understand if the board would like to get another bid. This is 8 to 10 weeks out on ordering, and our system, as Ed just mentioned, has been fritzy. So we want to make sure we take care of this before it gets into heating season. The good news is it's pretty warm out right now, but we definitely want to work on our circulation. So if we're going to decide to table this and not, and maybe get other bids, that's up to the board, but I do think we got to move quickly on this summer.
I'm confident that you did your due diligence, and I will approve. I'll second the motion.
Sure. All right, we have a first and a second. Do we need a roll call on this, or just an aye or yea? All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? All right. 3, 4, 1 against, motion passes. We'll move on to deputy clerk reassignment. Natalie Perman will be replacing Ally Sisilski, sorry. Her resignation is effective on June 18th.
So Natalie would be serving as our deputy clerk, which, for purposes of meeting minutes and taking, as well as elections support. So we do appreciate what Ally's brought to it. She's moving on to greener pastures at UGHS, but Natalie would fill in for her, so we need an official nomination of Natalie for the new deputy clerk position.
I'll nominate Natalie for the deputy clerk position.
Second.
We have a first and a second. Do we have any other discussion on this? Seeing none. How do we do that again? I can't think right now. Sorry, my brain is shutting down on me for the moment. All in favor for the motion to move Ally?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it. Congratulations, Natalie. You will be effective July 1st, and I would like to thank Ally for all she's done in the office. She's also been very good with talking with me and keeping me up to date on things and trying to keep me in line with my grandson. So you will be missed this year. Good luck at Union Grove next year. Not happy about that, but good luck in your future adventures there.
I'm sure Natalie will get used to our kids and keep tabs on them for us.
Natalie's been here for several years. She knows the kids.
Oh, good.
For better or for worse, that's it, yeah.
Yeah. Welcome.
All right, we'll move on to the committee reports. We'll start off with the curriculum. No meeting was held since the last board meeting, so we don't need a report there. Ed will have the facilities meeting from May 30th.
So, as stated, we met on May 30th. We had a data wrangler, the energy monitoring system that was installed. Made some changes there to update the program. It's working as we had expected. They continue to report to us the savings and identifying where all of the electric usage is.
And Data Wrangler will be at our 7-7 board workshop for a more extensive
In-depth
report.
for the whole group to see, so. Freezer cooler update. Yorkville approved the purchase of a new freezer cooler for our lunchroom. It is part of the consortium, and so that will be going forward this summer. Has to be done, obviously, when no kids are here and school is shut down. So that should be happening sometime in the next 6 to 8 weeks, I think. Yeah. Building tasks and projects. We have started to install the LEDs in a couple of the classrooms. Along with that is the dimmer switch system too, so that the teachers can turn down the lights. They're nice and bright, and from what I see, and so that's moving forward. I don't know if he's going to get them all done this summer.
The goal.
That's the goal. So, and then I think along with that, there might also be some focus on energy rebate that we may get from that. That's what we were told, so that, once it's done and we turn that in, we'll get some refund there. So that too will help with the electric bill. Let's see. I think that's about it. Our next future meeting will be the 24th at 4 o'clock on a Thursday. Anyone that would like to join us, please join us. So that's it.
July 24th.
Oh, I'm sorry, July 24th.
Yep.
Get a little time off.
Yeah.
All
So
right,
that's it for the facilities.
All right, thanks, Ed. Finance Committee, that was held on June 11th. Suppose that's you too, Ed?
Yep. So basically, that meeting, we went through all the expenditures for the month. Pete did a good job of explaining and walking us through various things. Everything was copacetic. Jeff Genovese was there. I'm looking forward to him taking our financial reporting and how we handle the money. I think he's going to just do an outstanding job. He's going to build upon what Pete started. I will tell you that from 1 year ago, when I first got on the board to now, it's absolutely amazing. The reporting, the numbers, how they are being reported, the fact that we're doing some forecasting and understanding where we are against the budget to the forecast. So it's going well, and I'd like to thank Pete for everything he's taught us and trained us on, and even getting some money that we didn't know we could get on a couple of grants. So that was great. Our next meeting for the Finance Committee will be July 16th at 3:45. So again, please feel free to join us. That'll be the first one that Jeff will take over and share his numbers and how he reports. So that's it.
All right, thank you, Ed. The personnel, there was no meeting held since the last board meeting, so we don't have a report from them. And then the policy meeting held on May 31st. Pretty much we went over that with our reading on all the work that we did on the first batch at 4301. We were kind of started to go through a little bit and hearing what might be coming along the pipeline with 4302. There are a couple more in 4301. I think we're still working on a couple of wordsmithing and stuff like that we're still trying to get right, to make sure that it fits what we need. Other than that, it's mostly a lot of fun reading and going through everything and making sure the policies are changed, and usually it's just a simple wordsmithing thing or trying to cut it down that it makes it pretty easy to go through it. But like Mike had said, even when I got on the board last year, I was put right into the policy with Janelle, and we were very, very far behind from what had happened the last couple of years. And Janelle and I made great strides last year catching up, and now that we've reconfigured, me and Audrey have really been trying to get on it with Mike and trying to get these policies caught up, so we're not having to do 9 million policies at once all the time and trying to do it. Usually there's one update at the beginning of the year, one update towards the end of the year, and maybe a couple things like guidance or something like that in between. So, getting caught up and getting back on track really means a lot to us, getting these policies and being up to date with everything. So we're catching up, we're getting there, and as you can tell with the batch that came through today, hopefully we'll get the second reading in by next month and get these approved and move through. So, thank you. We'll move on to the administrative reports. Superintendent report from Mr. Leach.
All right, thank you. I want to start off with a great wrap to the school year. All staff had finalized their goals, and evaluations were held for all staff, for Raymond, all staff and all positions. Overall, our staff had a really wonderful school year, and there are many things to be proud of from this school year. I want to thank our leadership team for the development and communication of the master schedule for next year. It's really important that the staff understand what the schedule looks like for them in the future. We're excited for fall, but definitely have some staff doing more around school than in past years with less prep time and more shared teaching assignments. But we have very strong, committed professionals. I want to thank Rebecca Brockman for her hard work and learning curve as she took on the role of Dean of Students full-time this year. We're thankful for her service to Raymond and hope to keep her involved in leadership in the future at Raymond. Her step into the classroom is evidence of her commitment to Raymond for the past 10 years. So thank you, Rebecca, for everything this school year. And I thank Pete Kempen before for his time, really much appreciated. In the interest of full disclosure, we are working on being communicative and transparent on all that's going on within our school. There are several updates I'd like to give about things that have been hot topics throughout the year. One is Wisconsin Elections Commission complaints. There were multiple complaints filed in the past, and I just have closure on 2 of those complaints. As those come in, I feel like it's important for the public to know how those sit. There's a complaint, so I'll just read the complaint update. This is a complaint that was filed and resolved in March 18th of 2025. It's written to the complainants, Mitchell Berman versus Gwendolyn Keller and Michael Garvey. The commission finds that the complaint of EL 23-54 Mitchell Berman versus Gwendolyn Keller et al. Does not raise reasonable suspicion under Wisconsin statute. The commission hereby dismisses the complaint. And then on May 29th, there was another update from the filed complaint, Mitchell Berman versus Gwendolyn Keller and Janelle Wise. The commission finds the complaint of EL-22, Mitchell Berman versus Gwendolyn Keller et al. Does not raise reasonable suspicion under Wisconsin statute. The complainant has not done anything more than make a general allegation, unsupported by details or evidence, that the affidavits submitted by signatures who wish to have their signatures removed from the recall petition contain false information. A general speculative allegation without more does not rise to the level of reasonable suspicion under the respondent violated Wisconsin State Statutes 12.13.1H. The commission hereby dismisses the complaint. As other things come in, I think it's important that our public understand how we are navigating some of the challenges we faced in the past. Along those same lines, we spent an exorbitant amount of money, lots of money, which we've heard about, on legal fees in the past. And so one of the things I was tasked with coming in as the new guy is to not hit anything close to the levels of legal expenses that we've had in the past. And I think we've done pretty well. It's not perfect. This school year certainly brought with it some surprises, whether or not it was anticipated. The referendum had a cost to it. I published the report. You can see the little spreadsheet of our expenses. So these are actionable things that have occurred throughout the year. From the IHO hearing that kind of was last summer, through some of the audit pieces. We had some contract work done there by WASB. We had Quarles and Brady. Anytime we have a referendum, that costs us money. So a couple $1,000s worth of referendum work. The interesting one that we didn't see coming was the deed. That was an expensive venture with the municipal legal with the village, but they were wonderful of helping us. And again, right now, we're spending more than we would even like to. A district our size may have a $5,000 to $10,000 budget. This year we budgeted $50,000 just to make sure we were covered, and we are coming in currently at right around $18,000, a little more than that. This does not speak to, though, the current pending litigation that we have that is being handled through our CIC insurance, and so we don't know the cost of that at this point, but I can I can report to the public here what I know, which is what I have in front of you, which are the lawyers and the invoices that we've served. Someone had made a comment that I kind of have gotten back to me that was a concern that we were paying our legal invoices with our credit card. That is simply not true. We would never do that. That is something that doesn't make any sense to us to do. Jeff Genovese and Pete both pay things. The invoices are given to us, and then they're PO'd and paid out. So you can match these up with the invoices that are referenced in this document. So I think that would be not only unethical, but I think it would be a really poor choice. And it's definitely not the way we want to earn our frequent flyer miles on our points. That's a bad joke. But the idea is we're not going to pay with our credit card to legal fees. That's just simply not going to be something we do. So I wanted to clarify that for those people who may have that in their mind. That said, what else do we have? Oh, strategic planning. Had a great strategic planning session on June 4th. The few, the proud, but I think it was a really great group of combined teaching staff, leaders, and community members, as well as June 14th. I've given updates on the website. I can show you a little bit here just on the website. It's really, I think, a nice feature. We're trying to get everybody to see the work that we're doing. Front and center here on strategic planning, there's an update that goes out. This is today's update from the weekend. It explains the things that we're doing. We are at a point now where we've named our buckets from the survey. We took a survey, we analyzed the survey, we took a staff survey, an external survey. We've narrowed it to 4 buckets of focus work, which is educational experiences, culture and community, safety and infrastructure, and financial management. These are all defined by purpose statements that are next to it. And again, it's really important work that we engage within the community because we're trying to move things forward and make sure we maximize and fund the things that are important to us. So it's been great. We've spent some hours together, again, with a very focused discussion. We do also have a mission that is coming to play here. We have a draft mission right now that would be a rewrite of our current mission, which is up top here. This is our current mission, highlighted in blue. The draft of the new mission reads in bold below: empowering all students by nurturing a culture of academic excellence, igniting curiosity, and cultivating perseverance within a supportive community. So that is what we came up with as our first kick at it. Staff will have a chance to read and react and respond and see what we think of it, because it is one of those things we hold personal as a staff, trying to communicate and clarify who we are and what we believe. And then there are belief statements that we're working on as well that have come out of the discussion. So again, I want to encourage you, this is a very open process. Any and all of you are invited and welcome. And if you can't make, I'll gladly debrief you and fill you in on things as they happen. I want this to be something that involves people. So I want to continue to invite our board to engage in the process and attend whenever possible, so they can put in their opinions and thoughts as well, because they get to live up to and manage this over the next 3 years. So again, the process has been going well, and I'm looking forward to seeing where it goes. Our next adventure will be an online form of meeting, so if you don't want to come in person, you can come. I'll be here, but we'll also have it up on a Google Meet if you want to join that way and be remote from home, kind of listen in. It'll be August 14th, and the Google Meet will be posted. It was posted actually in what I just showed you, which is on our website, and then we'll also send out notices. We sent out an email to all community members, staff members, and families with all this information today, and the slides are all up on our website. So again, really trying to engage our public here and what we're about here at Raymond in the future. So happy so far, but more to come. And then lastly, just a notice summer office schedule. There are no Fridays, the 4th, 11th, 18th, 25th, and 1st and 8th. office will be closed. It's our effort to enjoy some summer and give our office staff the ability to have some reprieve and use some vacation time, because otherwise we don't get nice weather. So just please note the office schedule. We are running a normal 5-day-a-week schedule during summer school, which is alive and well and running currently. And I don't want to take any more thunder from other people, so I'll stop talking. So thank you. I appreciate your time for the superintendent's report, and I think we're on to the teaching and learning now.
Yeah, I did give you that one. I don't have much to talk about, but summer school is off to a great start. We have 135 students registered, which is 14 more than last year, and I think that's incredible for the amount of students we have with that many coming summer school. So that's
Can you
awesome.
talk into the microphone so the recording can pick up your wonderful
Sorry.
teacher voice?
I just said that summer school is off to a great start, and we have 135 students registered, 14 more than last year. And if you think of that, about a third of our students, so that's, I think, pretty awesome. Teachers finished their grading last week, and report cards were run, and they're available online. We did get our preliminary per-student forward scores, not the aggregate part, but the ones that go to parents, and we will be mailing those out. We haven't gotten them yet, but when we get them, we will mail them out in the next couple of weeks. And the big thing that we're working on right now, I'm working with Ms. Rodriguez and the office staff to get all of that schedule stuff and our new students registered into Skyward, our student management system. So that's what I got.
Okay. All right, I love it. Ms. Rodriguez created, I just want to kind of backtrack a little bit to school because it seems like it was forever ago, but it was last week. We were still in school. So Ms. Rodriguez, towards the end of the year, created a blind book series challenge, which was a fun opportunity for students to check out books that they could then read over the summer. So she wrapped them all in paper, and they had a little description and a grade level, and then an activity packet to complete over the summer so that our library books could be in the hands of our kids over the summer. And then students who complete those activities can turn them into her this fall, and they'll get a little prize from Mrs. Rodriguez. So I thought that was a really fun idea. It took a lot of planning for Mrs. Rodriguez to do. It's a big project to take on at the end of the year, but it was very, very popular for our students. So shout out to her. We, of course, hosted our 2 graduations, promotions, call them what you want. We had our 4Kers, our youngest. Thank you to Mrs. Bourne and Mrs. Doctor and Mrs. Gradigan and Mrs. Waldron, because they put together that outstanding celebration. And then thank you also to all of the parents for our 8th grade planning committee and Miss Mike Leichuk and Miss Fiegel, because they also helped us celebrate our 8th graders leaving the building, which is sad, but we're very excited for them in the future. Something that we've kind of done in the past, and some years we do and some years we don't, but this year we did. We are partnering up with First Day School Supplies, which is a company that will offer our families pre-packaged school supplies. It's just a flat fee. It's up on our website right now. I've been posting about it on our social media, but it's really nice because families literally just go in, you click, I have a first grader, I'm going to order that kit. You already did it?
I already did it.
Awesome. And then the kit actually gets delivered to school. It's in a box, it's labeled with their name and their grade level, and it's in their homeroom on the day of open house. Those supply kits have everything the kids need except for any of the add-ons like headphones or like a backpack, but for the most part.
And a calculator.
And a calculator. The correct calculator, yes. So they're all in there. It's not anything that we profit from or benefit from in any way. It's just a convenience that we set up for the parents this year. And then don't forget that our 2nd annual community picnic is coming up on August 4th from 4:30 to 6:30, and we'll have more details about that, but please save the date and join us for that event.
Also note, we are walking in the 4th parade. When I say we, I mean myself and my 5-year-old, who's very excited to be front and center. He thinks the parade's about him. So that'll be interesting. We are planning on having a float and having a Raymond presence, which is exciting. It's my first time experiencing the 4th of July Raymond style, so that should be a lot of fun. And also, just a note to our 8th graders, we are sending a spy over in the form of Allie. who will work in the office at UG, so we'll know what our 8th graders are up to pretty quickly here.
All right, thank you, Ms. Marty, Ms. Brockman, and Mr. Leach for you guys' reports. Everything has been sounding really good. I wish I could make the strategic planning lately, but I've been really busy, so sorry about that. And unfortunately, I will not be able to walk with you guys in the 4th of July parade because I will be driving the float for the Snowmobile Club. So, anything, all right, on the board member comments? Anyone have any comments for tonight?
I just want to thank Pete and Ally for your service. Thank you.
Yes.
Nope, not tonight.
Oh, right. Wow, we're moving right along.
Aye.
Well, I'd like to go ahead and kind of go along with Ms. Brockman and thank the 4K graduation. I was able to attend on that. Mike made a good joke during it up on the stage, had a lot of fun with everything. Miss Bourne and Miss G did an awesome job with it. The kids sang a song. We really liked the one, the We Will Rock You, the 4K. That was really cool. But they all had like 3 or 4 songs they did. It was really special. I like that Mrs. Bourne really, and Miss G really made it special for these 4Kers that start on the Raymond journey. And Miss G and her little gift of all the kids, they got a little coloring book from her for their gift. And that was really exciting, and my grandson was all happy to see his name in it and being able to do that. Also, the 8th grade graduation was great this year. A little different sitting on the stage rather than off on the side. But it was really a good time, and I want to thank everyone for a good presentation there and everyone's hard work in putting that together. I want to thank everyone from the administration down to the janitors for making Raymond have another great year. It takes the whole school to be able to do that, right from the very top down to the guy who's scrubbing the floors. So, you know, thank you everyone for doing a great job at that this year. I want to thank the families, you know, that want to remain anonymous, because there's a lot of families that do a lot of things for this community. They put a lot of money and effort into it, and they don't ever want to be recognized. So for those families, I'd really like to, you know, say a good thank you from us and the board and the school. They're really what helped keep Raymond going behind the scenes, you know, for all their support from whatever kind of thing they're donating to, from the high interest day to whatever. They do a lot for the school, and I want to thank them. And lastly, and that comes from Audrey, as well as this last statement comes from me and Audrey as well. We want to thank you to Pete for coming out of retirement again, to coming and helping us out. You know, you've came out, you've helped us get this board, as Ed said earlier, you're getting that business management down. Reports are coming out great. We're really going to miss that, but we know we're in good hands with Jeff. We hope to see you still behind the school bus and behind the wheel and seeing you around. We wanted to make sure that you spend some special time with those 2 new granddaughters of yours. And we are very much going to miss the dad jokes, because I was told there's going to be a dad joke every day that it was there, and now it's not going to be. So I think someone's going to be pulling a couple of them, because I hear them every once in a while.
So what do you call a moose with no name? Anonymous.
See, that's the kind of stuff.
Okay, I think we end with that.
All right, yes, thank you, Pete, from both of us, all of us.
Can I say something real quick? I had the pleasure of working with Mrs. Edwards for the mother-son dance. We helped coordinate it and with the PTO, and I think it was fabulous. We had a superhero dance. We had dress-ups and pictures and games, and I think the moms danced a lot more than the sons danced this year, but it was a lot of fun, and I'm glad we worked together. She's amazing, and I look forward to doing that again next year too.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for bringing that up, because I forgot about it, but the wife was there with the grandson. You saw her talk, and they said it was a great time, and they were really happy, so.
Oh, good.
With that, we will move on to announcements and correspondence. Is there any? Strategic planning session number 3 will be August 14th at 5 p.m. online. I'm sure that reminders will be sent out or something from Mike on that. And we'll move on to scheduling future board meetings. Board workshop is Monday, July 7th at 5:30, and our regularly scheduled meeting is Monday, July 21st at 6:30. That should do it, right? So, motion?
Motion to adjourn.
I second.
Motion and a second. I don't think there's gonna be any debate on that one, so, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, we are dismissed.
Thank you, everybody.